Welcome to the Herd's official YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the Colin Cowherd podcast, all of our NFL instant reactions, and more football content.
Oh, here we go, hour two on a Tuesday. The Herd hierarchy and Nick Wright. Could be a bubbling, simmering controversy with the Lakers going on right now. Things are getting very, very interesting. I got to tell you, I hope LA sports fans, the Dodgers just signed Edwin Diaz. The Lakers are red hot. Harbaugh and the Chargers and Herbert are 9-4. Rams could be the best team in football, and USC just signed the #1 recruiting class. I hope LA sports fans realize, I mean, the Clippers are, shocking a circus, but most of their, franchise history is littered with nonsense. But I'm just, cities go in cycles. Man, LA is hot. Let's not waste any time. Let's get to our Herd hierarchy right now.
Herd hierarchy.
Time is now. Let's go.
The top 10 NFL teams according to Colin. Number 10.
Well, listen, the Bills are flawed, but they have won 12 straight home games in December and January. And Josh Allen has a career-high completion percentage and yards per attempt this season. I still think they're asking too much of them, which is why they've had 12 giveaways in 5 games. They're not a clean team. They can get sloppy. They're bad against the run, although they've been a little better in the last couple of weeks. I think the reality is they'll go as far as Josh Allen can take them. I don't trust them situationally. They were fumbling near the goal line this week. I think right now the best quarterback in the world, not the most decorated, but the best, is Josh Allen. But there's too many questions for me. They sneak in at number 10.
Number 9.
The Chargers are now 5-0 in prime time this season. They're a big stage team, at least in the regular season. 13-4 under Jim Harbaugh in the second half of seasons. That's best in the NFL. Remarkable with all their injuries. The offensive line's atrocious, all beat up. The running game depends on who's healthy, but they have a great pass defense, best in the league since week 8. Between the head coach and the star coordinator in Herbert, they're in every single game. I have the Chargers at 9.
Number 8.
I can't even figure the Niners out. How in the world do they have the #1 scoring defense since week 11? Robert Saleh, I don't like their defensive personnel. I'm mid on Brock Purdy, but they've got 5 wins of 10-plus or more points since week 7. That's tied for the NFL lead. They don't get penalized. They've got 2 easy games coming up. Just had the bye. San Francisco, yes, they're too Christian McCaffrey dependent, but Kittle and Jennings and Pearsall, they're getting healthier. I'll put them at 8.
Number 7.
Texans have the best defense in the league, 5-game winning streak, 8 of 10. Their offense can worry me. I do like C.J. Stroud. They have played the 4th hardest schedule in the league, so they are battle-tested, #1 scoring defense. I'll tell you, there's a couple of young defensive coaches in this league that are really sharp. DeMeco Ryans, and I told you, I had somebody inside the Niners tell me years ago, DeMeco Ryans was going to be a star as head coach. That Houston defense is no fun to play. I've got him at 7.
Number 6.
I'm going to give it to the Bears. They lead the NFL in turnover differential. They run the football. They can win time of possession. People bang on Caleb Williams completing 58% of his throws, but he is so electric and dynamic, I can live with that. I think their biggest issue, they give up 6.1 yards a play. That's near the bottom of the NFL. That's what worries me. It's not Caleb's lack of accuracy. I think you got to live with that because he's so dynamic. They've got to shore up their defense on the average play.
Number 5.
Seattle. Maybe I have them low, but there's a slew of teams above them, and there's reasons why. They can be reckless. They're a run-first team. They're aggressive, sometimes a little, penalties, youth. I don't think they're a Super Bowl team yet. I think like the Packers who are young, it'll take another year. I think Green Bay is ready this year. They weren't last year. They have, tied for the fewest sacks allowed. some of that's just Darnold's good on his feet, but I have Seattle at 5.
Number 4.
But I think the Broncos roster's a little more experienced, and I get offensive coach Sean Payton. First game, though, this year, they have not trailed. Listen, here's what's really impressive. Tied for the most sacks, and then the fewest allowed. You can't get to their quarterback. They always get to yours. That's going to serve them well in the playoffs. Offensive line, Sean Payton's got it number 1 after a couple years. I love their roster. I really like their roster. I wish their quarterback wasn't this uneven, but I have them a nick ahead of Seattle.
Number 3.
Green Bay, I may have them low. Best third down offense. Tied for the fewest giveaways. They're a very smart, clean, young team. I thought last year they were a bit too young. I love that Christian Watson is healthy because Jordan Love, like a Sam Darnold, loves to throw the deep ball and throws a brilliant deep ball. I also think the Micah trade was brilliant. Not always bad for Dallas, but it was brilliant because they're going to lead a lot of games late, and he's the closer. I have Green Bay at 3.
Number 2.
Patriots were idle. I have them at 2. 10-0 when Christian Gonzalez plays, their elite corner. 10-game winning streak. Are they a bit young? Is Drake May ready? Listen, they have played the easiest schedule in the NFL. That needs to be noted. Houston could be better. Houston's played the 4th hardest schedule. So I think they're a little harder to judge team. We know the coach is good and the quarterback is good, but I have them at 2.
Number 1.
The Rams. Boy, was Devontae Adams a steal. Leads the NFL with 14 touchdowns. Puka Nacua, by the way, averaging the most receiving yards per game in NFL history, 91. Tight ends, quarterback, head coach, running back, O-line. They have no weakness offensively other than Stafford's immobility. The defense is young and outstanding. This feels like the most complete team in the league. And you may have noticed I do not have Philadelphia in. I'm sorry. I think their coach is coordinator dependent, and their quarterback in Philadelphia is an if quarterback. He's circumstantial. If the O-line is healthy, if the defense is great, if Saquon's having a great year. I have Philadelphia at 11, and with that,
today's show brought to you by our new presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. I just spent the weekend down in Hollywood, Florida, at an amazing facility. The holidays are here, and the sports schedule is packed, tighter than Santa's gift bag. Week 15 football, bowl games, NBA, college hoops, hockey, the whole sports sleigh is loaded. And on Hard Rock Bet, there's always something to unwrap and bet on. New customers can sign up, bet $5 on any game. If it wins, you'll find $150 in bonus bets on top of your winnings stuffed in your stocking. That's holiday magic. Not sure what to place your first bet? Hard Rock Bet just launched a brand new For You page, making it easy to find all your favorite teams, players, and leagues all in one spot. I love it. The Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook app, the only legal sportsbook for whenever you're in Florida. It's also live in Arizona, Ohio, New Jersey, Indiana, Tennessee, Virginia, Illinois, Colorado, and Michigan now. Coming soon to more states as well. Plus, Hard Rock Bet offers new promos daily. So whenever you're listening, just open the app, check out what you've got any day of the week, download the Hard Rock Bet app. It's awesome. Make your first deposit.
Oh, it is a Tuesday. We are stacked. Justin Herbert, great American hero. In overtime, the Chargers, the Eagles even had extra days to prepare. What a night last night for Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert. 1 hour from now, the herd hierarchy. Will those bums from Philadelphia even make the top 10? I'll try to squeeze Buffalo in. That was great. That signifies how valuable a great head coach, a great quarterback, and an ascending, rising coordinator, Jesse Minter, are. Think about this. The Chargers are now 9-4. They lost to Bosa, both Pro Bowl level tackles. on their third-string running back, and last night their quarterback's off hand surgery, and they beat a stacked Eagles roster. All I've heard all year with Philly is, well, Landon Dickerson isn't 100%. Lane Johnson's out. Sorry, not Sirianni. I'm done listening to it. Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, most of the best offensive line in football. The Eagles are 0-3 without a starting right tackle. The Chargers are 4-3 without both their tackles. And whenever Justin Herbert plays with a broken hand, last night was all grit and all coaching. Justin Herbert didn't want to be the Bolts' leading rusher, but he was pressured on 68% of his throws. That is the worst pass protection any quarterback in any game has faced all season. So I've said this for years. If you don't get Justin Herbert, you don't get it. That kid's taken a beating, a record-setting beating. He's under siege. Last night, he finally got one of his running backs back. Backups everywhere in the offensive line. He's stiff-arming people in overtime, coming off a broken hand. And PFF, I looked this morning, has him as the 6th highest-rated quarterback. So they're 9-4, not to mention in a division with Andy Reid and Sean Payton, the reigning Super Bowl champs and the number 1 seed Denver. And they're 9-4. I mean, it was Dicker the kicker. It was Tony Jefferson retired a couple years ago. He has 4 picks this year. It was Harbaugh. It was Herbert. It was the special teams. It's the kicking. It's Jesse Minter. I mean, to me, head coach and quarterback is more than just diagramming some plays and completing some passes. It is about resilience and toughness. And this is a very interesting number. The last 2 years, we always talk about coaches, and I think Harbaugh is as good a coach as any coach in my life if you count college and pro. I think he's that good. This team is 13-4 the last 2 seasons after week 8. That is coaching. That is culture. That is toughness. That is resilience. I mean, this team averaged 3.9 yards a play. This is the best roster, the Eagles roster in the league. Herbert's pressured 68% of the throws. They should have been blown out. They're on backups all over the offensive line, facing one of the great defenses, Philadelphia, in the league. And yet they get 5 turnovers? Pull them away from Philadelphia? I mean, Herbert just broke his hand, just had surgery. Here's Jim Harbaugh gushing over Herbert.
And Justin Herbert, he's a superhero. He is a competitive maniac. I mean, he was even stiff-arming guys, with the broken hand. I mean, he had surgery a week ago, and out here tonight. It felt like I was in like we were in a movie where the quarterback's doing these, and it's like you get to the point where you go, okay, this is getting a little unrealistic. That's what it felt like to me.
It really is amazing that this team is 9-4. Still has a chance to win their division. Play the Chiefs next. All right, let's talk about a young man I like, but this was officially a bad day at the office. Jalen Hurts, 4 picks and a fumble, and a passer rating slightly over 31. One thing, let's stop arguing about this. One thing that has become obvious for Jalen Hurts, he is a circumstances quarterback. If the O-line's perfectly healthy, if the offensive coordinator is great, if Saquon Barkley is having an amazing night or season, if the defense is number 1 like last year, he's really successful. Justin Herbert's doing it with no ifs. Some quarterbacks are hot air balloons. They're dependent on the weather. Justin Herbert and some quarterbacks are fighter pilots. Just give me the coordinates. I like Jalen Hurts. Intangibles, A++. But the Eagles have now lost 5 straight games when they asked Jalen Hurts to just throw 30 times. Just 30. Last night he had to throw 40 times and became the only quarterback to have 2 turnovers on 1 play. The Eagles have a head coach that is entirely dependent on offensive coordinators and a quarterback that's dependent on mostly a perfect setting. Last year's Super Bowl, Colin, last year's Super Bowl, oh, give me a break. They won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. This is a general manager, owner first franchise. I've said this about Nick Sirianni. The top head coaches, Shanahan, we've seen Matt LaFleur do it this year, McVay, Vrabel, they can fix a broken side of the ball. LaFleur's offense was broken a month ago. Now it's great. We've seen Vrabel do this. The O-line's banged up. He can fix it in season. I don't think Sirianni can. I don't think that's who he is. I'm watching that game last night, and it hit me. It's hard to believe the positivity bunny didn't work. It didn't have a bigger impact. I thought that thing was a goofy reach. And I wonder about his future because Philly is like LSU football. They don't win. They don't care. No sacred cows with the Philadelphia Eagles. They've moved off Super Bowl winning quarterbacks and Super Bowl winning coaches. But I don't want to hear, I love Lane Johnson. But you got Saquon and that defense and Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. And yeah, A.J. dropped a pass. And I love so much about Jalen Hurts. But he's a circumstances quarterback if everything's lined up. That's not what Herbert was last night. Chargers had no business winning that game. That O-line against that Philly D, come on. Here's Sirianni on the ugly night for Jalen Hurts.
This game is the ultimate team game, so it's never just on one person. Now, ultimately, he always has the ball in his hands, and I know he'll wear a lot of that and own that, and I got to do a better job of helping him in those scenarios. Again, it's never just on execution, right? Obviously, never want to turn the ball over. We've been pretty good at that, and tonight was a little uncharacteristic of ourselves.
They're probably still going to win their division, but the NFC East, arguably, it's one of the weaker divisions. If you go look at the standings right now in the NFL, almost without exception, whoever leads them either has a great coach, like a Sean Payton, a Mike Vrabel, or you have a great quarterback. There are very few exceptions on that. Some are high profile, like Philadelphia. Some are like the Texans, great coach, great defense. But right now, what's great? I mean, the personnel is, but I mean, we all know this. Sirianni is totally coordinator dependent. And last night was another example that Jalen is a circumstantial guy. If everything's in line, he can win a Super Bowl. But remember, Nick Foles won a Super Bowl. Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl. Rex Grossman got to a Super Bowl. Stan Humphries got to a Super Bowl. Fine professional athletes, but sometimes things line up. With the Eagles this year, just things haven't quite perfectly lined up. And they are an absolute mess on offense. So what a wild game last night. I kept waiting for the dam to burst, J-Mac. You kept thinking, okay, Philadelphia's got too many good players. Philadelphia's going to win this football game. And there is something to be said about perseverance and just hanging around. I thought Justin Herbert in overtime, he didn't want to run. And even Harbaugh was just calling it. Justin, just get us first downs, move the chains. I would say this. It's a top 5 gut check win all season by a team.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really, there was a lot of reasons. I mean, Philadelphia was a road favorite, and for most of the game, you kept saying, okay, they can't throw another pick.
Right.
The Eagles can't keep turning it over, and the Chargers just stayed close, hung in, and then in overtime, it's funny, when it went to overtime, it was the first time the entire game I'm like, oh, the Chargers will win.
Really?
All night, I thought Philadelphia, all night I'm like, he can't keep throwing picks.
Well, he didn't get any help from A.J. Brown on the final drive.
No, that's true.
A.J. Brown had 3 drops for the game, dropped a touchdown in the corner of the end zone. That's a tough one for Philly. Colin, I'm just worried about Justin Herbert. Can he continue to survive this? They got the Chiefs this week in probably one of the biggest games of the season, and he needs to not get sacked 7 times on the road. I'll just say this. I don't think the Chiefs are dead yet. I don't think the season's over. If they beat the Chargers, we're going to start hearing, here comes Mahomes, here comes Andy Reid.
Isn't it remarkable, though, the betting markets, the Chargers are what, like a 3.5-point underdog?
Yeah.
And you watch the Chiefs' offense, what do they do well?
Well, they don't block. The guy who got hurt on the first play, he's out for the season now. It's like,
so it's the market still respects the Chiefs.
Yeah.
The market does, but you're watching them and you're like, this is what a dynasty does. You keep giving it in your mind. You keep giving it chance after chance after chance. I think the Chargers are a better team than the Chiefs.
I agree. I mean, does the market know that Andy Reid has turned into Dan Campbell going for all these fourth downs? I mean, come on.
It's crazy. So our herd hierarchy in 1 hour, plus Nick Wright having to come to grips with the Chiefs season.
This is the Herd Line News.
Big NFL game on Sunday, Colin. Mike Vrabel's Patriots off a bye host the Buffalo Bills.
And they're underdogs?
Yeah, rematch from earlier this season, won by the Patriots. Obviously, it's a must-have game for Buffalo, but, you know, I can't make a case for the Patriots here. I know you kind of want to, but, Colin, let's go to Vrabel here talking about clinching the division with a potential win this weekend.
Well, I don't use a hat T-shirt. Like, we're just trying to play for the championship that we have available this week. And I think it's a great testament to our players that have put us in this position to be able to do that. And again, it's not going to be easy. This is a very good football team. There's a reason that they've won this division 5 years in a row. A lot of respect for them. You know, they're never out of it, never down.
Yeah, the truth is Buffalo was down 10 in the fourth quarter at home to 4-8 Cincinnati. If it wasn't for Burrow throwing one of his worst picks ever, that little floater from 5 feet, if that doesn't happen, Cincinnati
Jalen
wins
Hurts-esque. No.
Yeah, it was. But I mean, it's an interesting line where the better team, the more consistent team at home is an underdog. The team that's already won at Buffalo. I got to tell you, I felt when I watched Buffalo Sunday, once again, it was Josh Allen saving Sean McDermott's job. Yeah. That's what it feels like to me.
Well, some of these divisional rematches, you know, there's another one, Carolina Saints. I know nobody cares about that, but remember, the Saints beat them earlier this year. Carolina needs this game. Buffalo needs this.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. It's tough for me to go against Josh Allen. This feels like a hero mode Josh Allen game.
Yes.
Like, I need 15 carries? I'm doing it.
So Josh Allen and the Bills are 3-0 this year when they've scored, when they've surrendered like 32 points. Okay. The rest of the league is 6-61-2.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he is literally Supermaning like this could be the fourth one. Because the one thing I'll say that Buffalo's weakness, Jason, is they don't defend the run, and New England's O-line's banged up, and they don't run the ball consistently. So certain teams are going to really take advantage of Buffalo. I don't think the Patriots right now, because of their injuries, are built to punish Buffalo's run defense.
Yeah, this is probably, I'm sure this is going to be considered a hot take. It's not the biggest deal if Buffalo loses this game, Colin.
Right.
It's not the end of the world if they're a wild card. You know, all that means is they have to go to Pittsburgh or Jacksonville, okay? Or Denver. I don't think they're afraid of any of those teams.
Yeah.
Is Buffalo much worse than those three? No, they might be favored against Jacksonville or Pittsburgh. They already crushed Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. So I know it's a huge game. I still think Buffalo comes out of the AFC as long as Josh Allen's breathing. That's got to be my...
I agree. I agree.
He's the best player. All right, let's move on to, oh boy, this one still hurts. The Baltimore Ravens and the TD taken away from Isaiah Likely. I mean, everybody watching knew this is a touchdown. And, of course, John Harbaugh called the league office for clarity on the rule, then went and talked to the media, and here's what Harbaugh had to say.
That's a complicated kind of a question there. Like, am I comfortable? You know, no. Do I think it needs more clarification? Yeah, it's about as clear as mud right now. That's how I feel about it.
The catch rule, clear as mud. Mud is not clear.
Yeah, sometimes you see things. I said yesterday, the Calvin Johnson touchdown against the Bears may have been 20 years ago, and they had changed the catch ruling, and it confused all of us. And for the next decade, we couldn't figure out what a catch was. In real time and in replay, it feels like catch 2 feet down, third going down, ball knocked out. I know at the 40-yard line, this would be incomplete, right? Because you have to have forward motion. But in the end zone, you're not going anywhere.
You're not going
It's about, and the end zone's always been tricky. We talked about this yesterday. A running back at the one can get hit, fumble out of the end zone. The other team gets the ball. So this is I just thought end zone to me, it was always ball security, 2 feet down, no other rule applied.
Yeah,
That's what I always thought the rule was.
Yeah, and this could cost the Ravens a playoff spot. Colin, they are short favorites at the Bengals this week. Could be over for Baltimore.
Yeah.
I think that could be an offseason of change maybe in Baltimore. Final story, Colin, this just broke before the show to Major League Baseball, where the Dodgers have won back-to-back World Series crowns. They had one weakness last year. You hammered them all year for it, and that was the bullpen. Well, they fixed that. They just stole Mets closer Edwin Diaz, 3-year, $69 million deal. Colin, the Dodgers, no salary cap in baseball. That was a topic for you last week.
Well, this allows them to take Roki, like the 23-year-old Japanese sensation, that they moved to the bullpen, not because they wanted to. Remember, Dave Roberts came on our show, and they went to him and said, would you mind? Our bullpen's a mess. We've blown 30 saves or something, 26 saves. Would you go to the bullpen? And it worked.
Yeah.
This allows the Dodgers to now move Roki back to the starting rotation, which makes their starting rotation with Yoshi, Glasnow, Snell.
They're stacked. And by the way, they're not done shopping. There's a report that they're going after Tariq Skubal, the Cy Young Award winner from the Tigers. Now, I don't know if they'll get him. Dodgers, listen, I'm with you. Listen, if these are the rules, no salary cap, do whatever you want. Just spend money. Dodgers are going to get everybody.
People, I've said this. People always talk, what a great baseball city New York is. The Dodgers outdraw the second best drawing team in the sport, I believe, by 7,000 fans a night. And I'll say this, it is a beautiful stadium and a brilliantly run organization, but anybody in L.A. would tell you it's not the easiest stadium to get in and out of.
Oh, yeah, that's rough.
It's not great, but it's a gorgeous stadium. But, and I'll say this, people will say this feels like KD to the Warriors. Well, KD to the Warriors got better ratings than the 7-year, 7-championship OKC title last year. I like dynasties. I said this. I don't think last year qualified as the best baseball team ever because their bullpen was so bad during the regular season. They had to kind of bondo it and patchwork it. Diaz.
Yeah, you saw the stats on the screen. The Dodgers blew 27 saves.
Yeah.
Diaz blew 3. So a significant upgrade to the bullpen. There it is. I mean, this guy was lights out. How did the Mets let him walk? I mean, what about your guy, Steve Cohen? I thought he had all the money.
It's funny.
In New York City.
I spend a lot of time in Chicago now, and people ask me all the time, what do you make of Chicago sports? And I say, now I think Tom Ricketts, who owns the Cubs, that's an elite owner. But I said, LA's got incredible owners. I mean, now the Dodgers owners are the best. Now they own the Lakers.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
The Chargers, who people used to say are frugal, are no longer frugal. They're paying that coaching staff a fortune. The Rams are brilliantly run. Now USC, all their boosters have stood up. #1 recruiting class. The Clippers have the rich owner, a bit of a circus. But when people ask me about that, I always say what LA has is incredibly well-funded, smart ownership groups.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a city and there's some good owners.
Well, it's not a tough sell if you're a rich guy to come out to Los Angeles and live. You're out here.
Well, most of the
weather,
owners out here are tied to the California economy, which is the 4th biggest in the world.
Yeah.
So, J-Mac with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Lie News.
There's some interesting stuff going on. So we did yesterday. This news broke on the show that Cleveland, Kevin Stefanski has said Shedeur is going to finish the season. And it's really interesting. When Tim Tebow was a sensation, I didn't buy it, but I got it. He was winning, and he had the Christianity connection. So he was beloved, and he was winning. He wasn't very good, but I got it. The Shedeur Sanders conspiracy theorists are really bizarre. Shedeur's not winning, and his popularity also isn't tied to productivity. They think Cleveland, desperate for winning, is out to get him. And I'm not saying I get all popular things. I don't get K-pop. Like, I don't get, but I understand its popularity, different It's pop music, which is often popular in different musical genres. But the whole thing with Shedeur Sanders is he's more like the trend 6'7". I don't understand it, and nobody's explained it to me. It's just over the head. I think there's a LaMelo Ball thing here. Where is Shedeur Sanders the first quarterback influencer? That's what I think it is that you see this stuff all the time. You see these young business people, and their product's not very good or it's average, but they play Instagram well and TikTok, and there's people making millions of dollars, and they're like influencers. I think Shedeur Sanders is our first quarterback influencer. I think LaMelo Ball had that feel. Like LaMelo wasn't a winning player, but he connected with the kids. And so I'm happy for Shedeur Sanders. I honestly think he's kind of a chill kid. He's a little silly for me. I like my quarterbacks to be a bit more serious and adult. That's not his thing. But the whole conspiracy theory group, like Tebow was winning Christianity, I got it. Shedeur's much better. I think it's this simple. And I don't know why everybody can't see this. Dillon Gabriel, because he came out of a college program with better coaching, Oregon, was more prepared initially than Shedeur. But Shedeur was more talented. And so Dillon was better to start early, but Shedeur's talent eventually would surpass low-ceiling Dillon Gabriel. It's not that, and this happens all the time. Anybody listening or watching that has kids, sometimes boys grow more slowly than girls. They mature more slowly. Dillon comes out of a football factory in Oregon. He is well coached and well schooled. He's won a lot of games, great coaching, NFL players around him. Oregon's an NFL factory, and he's ready sooner than Shedeur is. Shedeur comes from Colorado. Not a lot of NFL guys around him. Travis Hunter was great. The coaching staff isn't as good as Oregon. He's too loose. He's too immature. He's not quite ready. He's getting speeding tickets. He's not ready. But eventually, Shedeur has more big play potential, has probably a little better arm, and eventually the talent wins. That's, to me, the stories. I mean, Dillon Gabriel was more ready probably because he had the most college football starts ever. So Dillon was just the kid in the family that's a little more prepared, but maybe less talented than his brother. Sometimes talent takes a while. It's a bit more mature. Dillon was just ready sooner, but he had a low ceiling. So I don't think anybody's out to get him. Here was Stefanski on keeping Shedeur rest of the year. It's a good call as the guy.
With our quarterbacks and our young players, you're always making sure that you're making the right decisions for our guys. And I think he has constantly and consistently gotten better in each one of these games and how he's approached this game. He's been working very hard. So I feel good about where his development is heading. He knows there are always going to be plays that he can be better and those type of things. But he's very intentional about getting better each and every game he's out there.
So 90% of you watching could not diagram a football play. Okay, so Kevin Stefanski knows more about football than you and me. I think it's really simple. Dillon Gabriel came into pro football with a zillion starts. He was just more ready initially to play. And the Colorado program's a little looser, not quite NFL level like Oregon, but eventually Shedeur's going to get the nod and going to perform at a higher level. But Shedeur has not helped himself with the legendary draft room and bombing interviews and the speeding tickets. A lot of that's just immaturity. But it does appear every time he's at the podium, Shedeur's a little more mature, a little more focused, and he's hard to root against. Like, I don't think LaMelo Ball's a guy I'd build around in the NBA, but seems like a likable kid. He's fun. Kids like him. So the Tebow thing I understood. The Shedeur conspiracy stuff is 6'7". Like, people have tried to explain it. I still don't get it. So Jordan Love is now finally making a surge toward the MVP odds. It's really interesting, and I'm guilty of this. We tend to crown young quarterbacks probably before they need to be crowned. I love Bo Nix as a rookie. He still had a lot of growth. Jaden Daniels, I'm like, that's the best rookie quarterback I've ever seen. There's only one quarterback in the NFL, it feels like, is the opposite, who's been great for several years, and nobody will crown him, Jordan Love of the Packers. I would call it the Colin criteria. There are certain things I love, and he checks all the boxes. His hat's on forward. He's great at the podium. He's big. I like traits. Short memory after bad interceptions. He's mobile, but actually prefers the pocket. He's aggressive on the deep ball. He loves to throw it deep, spreads the ball around to teammates, never gets in trouble at the podium. Yet outside of Wisconsin, people are really, whoa. I text last night a GM in the league, and I said, if you had Jalen Hurts and Jordan Love both available on the market, he said, come on, 6'4", 220, doesn't throw picks, doesn't need a great O-line. He's like, every GM in the league would take Jordan Love. But you'll get pushback on that. And so, and I've thought about this before, what is it with Jordan Love? And my guess is, if they win this weekend against Denver, he gets a 5-game winning streak. He just has never gone on that Favre heater or that Aaron Rodgers heater. And even the win over Chicago, you're like, well, it was the defense with an interception. But this is one of these, everything I want in my quarterback. Grateful, humble, hat on forward, adult, aggressive, but doesn't take unnecessary risks. He is the one quarterback in the league that's great, but nobody will crown him. He's he's tremendous. Tremendous. And I actually think this weekend, Green Bay and Denver feels like, to some, a preview of the Super Bowl. Here's Jordan Love on that Bears win this weekend.
I said, let's go win it. You know what I mean? This is all we got right here, you know. I think there was 8 minutes left, you know, so it's just let's go win it. But I think everybody knows what time it is. They know what this drive means and what we got to go out there and do. So it's one of those things that, you know, what's understood doesn't have to be explained. And everybody has that mindset that we got to go answer.
All right, Herd Hierarchy and Nick Wright, who came on the show yesterday, first things first, on a stretcher after a rough weekend for the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll show you that.